All right, so I just finished watching the Pax West Grounded 2 panel, and we got some good news and some bad news. We'll start with the good news, but right off the bat, I'm going to say I was wrong about the fall update, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So let's start off with the good news. They did give us some new information that we hadn't heard up to this point. So the first big thing was going to be a new building UI called the build.m, and it's supposed to make building more efficient, so it's going to replace the current building UI in the game. They didn't show anything off for it, but they did say it's supposed to be better than what's currently in the game. They've been getting a lot of feedback on the building UI, so hopefully we'll end up having a better building system. One of the members of the panel was actually from Eidos Montreal and was one of the UI people, one of the UI devs on the game, and he's the one that did the talking about it. So it sounds like we're going to be moving in a better direction for building. So if you're big into building, which I think most people are to play the game, hopefully we're going to have a new building system very soon. Next up is going to be something that was on one of the first slides they showed, but they didn't talk about it. I don't know if this was intentional or unintentional. It said new graphic options coming in the fall update. What that means, I'm not sure. Hopefully it means that when we go into the graphical settings, that there's more options. I'm sure a lot of you guys probably want DLSS, FSR, stuff like that. For me, it's like I just want to uncheck the Lumen box because Lumen literally takes 20, 30 FPS off your game. So hopefully we get a lot more options in there so we can get people's FPS up, reduce crashes, and just have a better overall experience for people. Next new thing was they said that they are actually working on a new healer class. So they did a brief talk about the archetypes in the game, and one that has been asked about several times in the past was, can we get a healer class? So it looks like that's going to be in the works. No idea when it's coming. They didn't put a timeline on it, put a date on it, or like which update it's coming in, but they are working on at least one new class right now. They did say for the fall update is going to have Axel. It's going to have, which we already know about. Obviously, they showed that off. Axel's going to come with his own armor set, and they did mention in one of the Gamescom interview that there's also going to be a bow to go along with it, and as well as I think a throne or something. They did show off, or they did mention there's going to be a new praying mantis armor, so there's going to be new mantis armor, at least one new armor set with the update. There's going to be performance improvements, and then as I mentioned, the build 'em system. So that's what's happening with the fall update. They did also say that for the fall update and all future updates that are like major updates, not like the hotfixes and stuff, there's going to be the public test servers, public test betas, whatever they're calling them, which everybody can opt into, whether you're playing on console or you're playing on PC. On console or on the Windows Store, you can go into the Xbox Insider app. On Steam, you can just opt into the beta branch and jump into them. So if you played the first game, you'll know about those. If not, it's super easy to get into them. And I actually have a video on them. So whenever the updates come out, I'll probably either refresh that video or just link to the old one because it's super easy to get into it on either way. They also did get asked a question about, a couple people asked about the Colossi. So they clarified what Colossi were, which is, I think like we all thought, they're like the crow or the koi fish from the first game. And they did say that one will be coming in the winter update. Didn't say what it would be, but it sounds like there's going to be at least a couple of these added over time. So that's the good news. Lots of new stuff on there. Looks like the fall update is going to be a little bit more beefy than originally what the roadmap showed off. The bad news is they did not give any date. They did not give any hint of when the date was going to be or when the update's coming. So we have absolutely no idea when it's coming. Now, based off of what I thought it was going to be coming literally this week. Honestly, I thought they were going to say, hey, public test server or the update's coming this week. We'd be able to jump into it because they showed off the fight they showed off a lot of stuff for Axel, but apparently it's either not finished, maybe they're not happy with it. They also want to add this new build 'em system. So that sounds like they just started. I don't know how they couldn't possibly be that deep into that because they said they were taking feedback from it. The game's only been out for a month. So at the very best, they would have started working on it like in early August, meaning that depending on how long it's going to take, it could be a while. I would say my best guess now is that this update's probably going to come mid to late October. I honestly think it's probably going to be timed around Halloween. And I don't know if that was the original plan. I mean, if you think about it, fall in the US doesn't start till the end of September. So honestly, thinking it was coming early September might have been a little bit naive, but it is definitely going to be coming later on. And I can't imagine it's going to be coming in the next even 2 to 3 weeks, because if it was, they would have probably told us so that keep people interested in the game. So that's pretty much everything we learned from this panel. I feel like we learned more from the previous panel because they didn't even actually show off any gameplay during the panel. They didn't show off any of the Axel fight. They didn't give us any more information on the Axel fight other than to say people think they know how the fight's going to be, but they don't really know. So whatever that means, maybe that means Axel will have different weaknesses and resistances. I don't know, but I'm going to keep this one brief. There's really not much to talk about. There was a bunch of questions asked at the end. The only ones that I think were even worth mentioning here were going to be, somebody asked, is the power droplet coming back? They didn't have an answer for that. And then there was just a couple other ones that were like, that maybe were worth asking. Like, one was, are they going to take fall damage away from the spider or Weaver spider mount? Because as you know, if you fall like a very short distance, a very small height from when the Orbiter buggy, you'll literally just fall off of it and die, or it'll die. So that was another question I think that was worthwhile. I guess if you're still playing the game, hopefully you have something to do. If you're waiting for this update, now's a great time to go check out something else and come back whenever this update drops. And when it does drop, I'll be sure to give you guys updates on it when I find out about it. I'll probably talk about this on stream this week. If you guys want to stop by, so make sure to hit the like button. Consider subscribing for more content just like this. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next video.